What if I told you that the Philippines was once a place where divorce was freely practiced? Today, the Philippines is one of only 2 countries in the world without legal divorce, with the other one being the Vatican City. So why did a nation that, once celebrated marital freedom become one of the last places on earth without divorce? Let's dig deeper and find out. Mabuhay! Earn Kapampangan, luwid kayo! Welcome to my channel, it's me, Kirby Araullo, your friendly Pinoy historian. And in today's video, regardless of your opinion about divorce, we will unravel the threads of history to explore how these ancient freedoms around marriage and divorce were lost in the Philippines, and what do these changes mean for us today. Divorce in the Philippines is a topic steeped in complexity, tracing back from ancient practices of marital freedom to the rigid constraints imposed by colonial rule. And as one of the few countries in the world, one of only 2 countries in the world without legal divorce, the Philippines presents a unique legal and social landscape. This video will unravel the intricate history of how pre-colonial societies approached divorce, the profound impact of Spanish colonialism, and the ongoing debates that shape contemporary views on marriage and separation. But before we dive deeper, it is crucial for us to note and remember that pre-colonial Philippines, or the islands we now call the Philippines, was not a homogeneous society. It was not a single entity, but a collection of diverse indigenous peoples. From coastal city-states like Manila to mountain villages and flourishing sultanates like Sulu, each with its own distinct society, culture, and marital customs. And this diversity meant that practices like divorce varied widely across the different cultures and regions of the islands. And today we will explore some of the most common themes across these varied societies to understand their approach to marital practices, to understand how our ancestors understood marriage and divorce. So long before the Spaniards arrived, long before the Spanish galleons sliced through the blue waters of the Philippine archipelago, the islands buzzed with a rich tapestry of diverse but interwoven cultures. Each with its own unique approach to life, love, and yes, even divorce. In these societies, marriage was not just a contract between 2 people, but a flexible bond that could be respectfully dissolved if the need arose. Imagine that, centuries ago, in what we now call the Philippines, in these pre-colonial societies, divorce was practiced openly, integrated into the very fabric of everyday life. Divorce was a common practice among several indigenous nations of our islands, notably the Tagbanwa of Palawan, the Gadang of Nueva Vizcaya, the Sagada and the Igorots of the Cordilleras, the Manobo and the Blaan of Mindanao, and many of the lowland societies, from the Kapampangans of Luzon to the diverse Muslim communities across the archipelago, all recognized and practiced divorce in one way or another. Women often held significant power in these relationships, in these marriages. They could initiate divorce, ensuring that their voice and well-being were prioritized. And this autonomy was a far cry from the marital norms that would later be imposed by colonial powers. These early indigenous societies valued harmony and personal dignity. In fact, divorce was not seen as a failure, but as a necessary option for maintaining social balance and personal happiness. Indeed, economic sanctions or reparations were sometimes involved, tailored to ensure fairness and accountability within the community. So why does it matter for us today? Knowing about our ancestors, knowing about how they had such open views about marriage and divorce and society, it really challenges us to think, how can we draw from the lessons of our past to forge and shape a future that is more equitable, more open, and more understanding? As we dive deeper into the communal life of pre-colonial Philippines, we see that divorce was not merely a personal choice but a collective concern. Here, the harmony of the group was paramount, and divorce played a role in maintaining this balance. In fact, decisions about marriage and divorce were not hidden behind closed doors, but were part of community meetings. Elders and leaders would come together, weighing the circumstances and ensuring that decisions were fair and respected by all. For example, among the Tagbanwa of Palawan, community elders would mediate discussions to reach a consensus that upheld communal harmony. Similarly, the Maranao people of Mindanao had customary laws where elders played a crucial role in resolving marital disputes. And when a marriage was dissolved, it wasn't just about the couple. In fact, the community looked at the broader impact. Economic sanctions or reparations were common. And this was not aimed at punishment, but at restoring balance. For example, if a separation was initiated without just cause, the party responsible might have to compensate the other. ensuring support and fairness. In some indigenous communities, this compensation could involve providing goods, livestock, or services to the wrong party or their family. For the Tagbanwa, for example, reparations could include rice, livestock, or other valuable commodities. This system underscored a crucial indigenous philosophy. Life went on, and both individuals could still play vital roles within their community. Divorce was handled with respect and care for both parties. It was not a mark of disgrace, but a thoughtful resolution to a complex personal matter. And if you think about it, this approach allowed for personal dignity to be maintained while ensuring that the social fabric of the community remained intact. So as we can see, our ancestors had, a profound understanding of personal dignity and communal well-being. But are these practices, these indigenous traditions, these pre-colonial practices unique to the Philippines? How exactly did our neighbors across Southeast Asia navigate divorce? Beyond the shores of our islands, the spirit of marital flexibility and the empowerment of women in divorce are not unique to our ancestors. In fact, across Southeast Asia, similar threads weave through the social fabric of many cultures. Take for example the Minangkabau of Sumatra in Indonesia, the world's largest matrilineal society. Here, properties and clan names were passed down through the female line, and women hold significant influence over marital decisions. Indeed, divorce is seen as a practical solution to marital discord, ensuring that women and the children retain security and status within the community. And in Thailand, the historical narratives also reveal a complex view of marriage and divorce. And just like the Kapampangans, women in Thailand have traditionally played a crucial role in managing economic affairs, influencing decisions on marriage continuity or dissolution. In fact, Thai laws historically allowed for divorce under various circumstances, including mutual consent and specific faults, reflecting a pragmatic approach to marital issues. And in what is now Malaysia, particularly among the indigenous Orang Asli communities, divorce is similarly integrated into the social structure. And just like in many parts of the Philippines, Orang Asli women can initiate divorce, and the community often mediates the process to ensure fairness and support for both parties. This communal involvement reflects a shared regional ethos, where individual well-being and community harmony are intertwined. These examples illuminate a broader regional perspective, showcasing a rich diversity in how societies manage the intricate balance between personal happiness and communal harmony. And if we think about it, understanding these parallels helps us appreciate the shared human experiences across this vibrant region. It challenges us to think about, how modern laws and societal expectations might better reflect the diverse cultural heritage that shapes our views on marriage and divorce today. By drawing lessons from these indigenous cultures and pre-colonial societies in what is now the Philippines and across Southeast Asia, we can explore more inclusive and balanced approaches to marital laws that honor both tradition and contemporary needs and realities. But what exactly changed? How did we go from celebrating such freedoms and empowerment to having some of the most strictest marriage laws on the planet? When the Spanish galleons anchored along the shores of the Philippine archipelago, they didn't just bring with them the Christian faith or the Catholic Church. Indeed, they introduced a seismic shift in societal values. And this marked the beginning of a dramatic reshaping of our people's marital traditions that had thrived on our islands for centuries. Under the mantle of Spanish rule, the previously flexible marital practices faced stifling constraints. The indissoluble marriage, championed by the Catholic Church, clashed directly with the indigenous norms, where divorce was not only viable but also respected as a solution to marital strife. And the enforcement of these new norms was not merely bureaucratic, but a deep-seated cultural invasion aimed at realigning our people's societal values to match with those of European Christianity. And this was a stark departure from a past, where marriages were adaptable to both the needs and the safety of each person and of the community. Colonial authorities imposed new laws that strictly adhered to the Catholic doctrine. The Spanish Civil Code enforced in the Philippines mandated that marriage was a sacred, indissoluble union, and thus nullifying traditional divorce practices. And this was compounded by the influence of Spanish missionaries, who actively sought to convert indigenous populations and reshape their cultural practices to align with the Catholic values, imposing a society in which marriage was a sacrament which had to be protected and preserved at all cost. The Spaniards also introduced civil marriage, heavily regulated by the state, requiring all marriages to be registered with the colonial government, and thus further eroding community-centered indigenous practices. The codification of marriage laws under Spanish rule meant that indigenous customs and flexibility in marital relations were systematically replaced by rigid legal frameworks. Furthermore, the Spanish colonial regime used marriage as a tool of control and assimilation. If we think about it, by aligning marriage practices with the Catholic doctrine, the colonial government reinforced its authority and integrated the diverse native populace into the broader colonial order, consolidating control over the archipelago within the Spanish Empire's rigid social, political, and religious framework. This imposition created lasting changes in the Philippines. Indeed, the concept of indissoluble marriage took root, with Catholic doctrine's influence persisting even after our island's liberation from the Spaniards. The strict marriage laws in the Philippines today and the ongoing debate over legalizing divorce highlight the enduring legacy of these colonial impositions. By understanding how colonialism reshaped these practices, we can better appreciate and understand the historical context of current marital laws in the Philippines and the enduring impact of colonial rule, not just on our legal frameworks, but also on our cultural identity. Okay, so how do these echoes of our past resonate in today's debate about legalizing divorce in the Philippines? Let's find out. So as we've seen, the colonial imposition of indissoluble marriage and the erasure of pre-colonial divorce practices have left a lasting mark on the Philippines. And these historical policies have set the stage for today's marital laws, which remain among the strictest in the world. The deep-rooted influences of colonialism reshaped marital norms and left a legacy that the Philippines continues to grapple with today. And despite this, there's a growing debate within the country about reintroducing and legalizing divorce. And this discussion goes beyond merely changing the law. It's about reconciling with a colonial past, reconnecting with our indigenous roots and aligning with modern realities. And if we think about it, these debates reflect the struggle to balance colonial history with the potential to adopt laws that better reflect contemporary societal values. Understanding this history invites us to consider how we might draw from our rich heritage to forge a future that truly honors both tradition and the need for change. Our journey through time reveals a Philippines where the roots of marital flexibility were once deeply nourished by communal consensus and personal dignity. And if you think about it, today, we stand at a crossroads, and these historical insights invite us to reconsider our paths forward. The legacy of our ancestors who navigated marital challenges with grace and flexibility offers us not just lessons, but a call to action. It challenges us to reimagine our legal and social frameworks in ways that respect individual dignity while enhancing and preserving communal harmony. As we contemplate the future of marriage laws in the Philippines, let us draw inspiration from the wisdom of our ancestors to empower a more equitable, a more open, and a genuinely understanding society, forging a brighter future that truly honors our rich heritage while embracing progress and genuine change. And let's be honest, this is not just about revising laws, but about reviving a spirit of adaptability, a spirit of openness and respect that could once again flourish in our islands. Engaging with our rich cultural heritage offers us a pathway to redefine our societal norms. By understanding our past and by immersing ourselves with the realities of today, we are better positioned to navigate our future, crafting laws and practices that reflect our shared values and individual freedoms. So let us not be divisive. Let us come together together and envision and build a society where the voice and the well-being of every individual are acknowledged and respected in the realm of marriage and beyond. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon, ring the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos about our people's history, culture, and everything in between. And if you want to support my channel and my research, please consider being my patron on Patreon or a member of my YouTube channel. And don't forget to check out my books, coloring books, ebooks, and merch on the fascinating history and cultures of the Philippines and Southeast Asia. And actually, today's topic is also found in my book, The Fierce Women of Early Southeast Asia. So make sure to check out the links below and order your copies today. And that is it for me today, so let me know what you think about today's topic in the comments below. Maraming salamat po, or in Kapampangan, dakal pong salamat, and in Binisaya, daghang salamat sa inyong tanan. See you next time, or in Tagalog kita kids, and in Kapampangan, make it ticks, and in Binisaya, kita ay ta.